Welcome back to another episode of Musings podcast. I'm your host Lungu Mildred, and I'm so happy that you have joined me on another Saturday for another episode. So tomorrow is Mother's Day, and I want to wish all the mothers or soon to be mothers that will listen to this a happy Mother's Day. I'm so grateful for the moms who stayed and took care of the kids, the moms who are purposefully present, the moms who wanted to be moms. That is top tier. A mom who wanted to be a mom and they became a mom and they took care of their child. I want to wish you a happy Mother's Day. So that is my friends who are moms or aspiring moms. That is my aunties who, are moms. And that is my grandma who took care of me. As I said before, when she didn't have to do it. As I said before again, she would have just decided, no, you can go to a children's home and that would have been it. But she chose to take care of me. She still chooses to take care of me even now. So I'm very grateful to her for her love, for her care, for her devotion towards me. I'm super grateful, and I want to wish her a happy Mother's Day. A special wish goes to this lady that I call mom. Whenever I call her and I'm feeling down and stuff like that, she always gives me good advice and she helps me out whenever I ask her for help. So thank you, Mama Ian. I call her Mama, but thank you so much. Thank you. When I call you that, it means something to me because whenever I've needed you, you've never told me no. So that in itself just gives you the great honor of being called Mama. And so I want to wish you a happy Mother's Day as well. So yeah, happy Mother's Day. Now, this is going to be a heavy episode because as much as I have all these mothers around me, as much as I have all this support around me, as I was wishing people happy Mother's Day, you didn't hear me wishing my own mother happy Mother's Day. Now, this is a disclaimer. If you're listening to this and you think that me talking about the woman who gave birth to me is going to make you upset, I tell you to please leave. Because unfortunately, this is my story. This is my story with having a mother. This is my journey. And it doesn't matter what you think, what you feel, but my story as a human being is something that I have to battle with, something that I have to accept and move on from. And in acceptance and moving on, I have to name the thing that I feel. I have to say, if I'm feeling a certain emotion, I have to say it. If I'm feeling wrong for something that you did to me, I have to say it. So if you're going to call me or text me or discuss me in what arenas about what I'm going to say, please, I'm telling you right now, don't call me about this. Because I'm already warning you, I'm going to be on level number 10 of anger. This is 10 out of 10. If you call me and you just start hiyo kitu ulisema, I'm going to shut you down real quick and I'm not going to be kind about it. Okay? If you're going to come and tell me, you should forgive and forget, understand this. I've forgiven and forgotten my entire childhood. People who didn't ever come to ask for my forgiveness, but I had to forgive them because I was told to. So now, all the advice that you might want to give me other than it's okay to let go and move on, I don't want it. So don't call me telling me you angered me. Don't call me to tell me, unanika familia, si familia nanika, ni life yangu. This is my story. And whoever wants to listen to me and my story, this is the story that I tell. So si ati ni siri fulani inafaa kuwekwa chini ya maji. Hiyo story ya kuweka siri za familia sijui chini ya maji, nini tuliacha kitambo. This is my story. So I'm just giving a disclaimer. Do not call me trying to tell me, oh, unaibisha familia, ama ungesema hivo, ama sijui ungefanya nini. I don't want to hear it. Okay? So, now that you have that out of the way, I'm going to share some things with you. So, I think I said this at a previous episode. The lady who gave birth to me, I didn't know she was my mother until I was around 8, 9 years old. And so that means that a lot of people who I grew up around don't even know who my mother is, actually. And the reason I can talk about this story freely is because, one, I'm not going to mention her name. So even that disclaimer I was giving it to family, because they're the ones who are going to be upset about this. Because like friends and strangers don't even know. I grew up with my grandmother. Everybody associates me with my grandmother. So when I say mother, they really don't know who she is. So unless we grew up together and you saw her whenever she came around, unless you are my family member, then you wouldn't know who my mother is. So I grew up seeing her. I think my earliest memory of her was I was a little bit younger, and we were living in this area where I learned Kamba, because Kamba is the first language I spoke. And I'm not Kamba, I'm Maragoli. But Kamba was the first language that I spoke. And I think it's because of where we were living, that memory that I usually have. It's usually like a small snippet. I'm playing with these people, and my grandmother tells me that when she got me back, I was just speaking Kamba. That was the first language I spoke. I didn't know Swahili, I didn't know English. And whenever I would speak it, she would beat the hell out of me so that I could forget about it and at least learn some Swahili and English. This was a problem because whenever I was playing with the other kids, they would speak to me in Swahili and I would think they were insulting me. And so I would insult them in Kamba. So she had to rectify that real quick. Okay, otherwise it will have been a disaster. So I still hear Kamba, but I can speak some words, but yeah, I'll be afraid to speak like Kamba in front of Kambas because yeah, I'm no longer that confident. So yeah, but kusikia naisikia. So that is the earliest memory I have of her. But then as I grew older, while living with my grandma, as I said, I used to see her. I loved her actually because she would come visiting. I would run to her. Of course, I used to call her auntie or mama so and so, my sister's name. And then I got used to her as that. But then when I was in class 4, I think, that's when I remember she came to visit with my sister again, and my grandmother introduced her to me as now my mom. She was like, yeah, this is not your auntie, she's your mom, and this is not your cousin, she's your sister. As I said before, I was happy. So our relationship as mother and daughter started there. But then she's from a different generation. I understand how she was raised was different and all of that. But as a kid, I didn't understand that my life had already begun at a disadvantage. Because everybody deserves to have a mother and a father in their life. And having grandparents is a bonus. Because so many people will say that, yeah, I have parents, but I've never seen my grandparents. Lucky you go to see your grandma. But then you go to see your parents, and parents is a given. Unless your mom died during childbirth, which I'm sorry about, you grew up with your parents. Whether they were drunkards or drug addicts or crazy or whatever, but you knew them, you loved them. And so, actually, if you're going to tell me that no, you should accept her and blah, 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 because she's your mother and I lost my mom, I wish you could be here, understand this. Those feelings that you have towards your mother, I have them towards my grandmother. So, do not complicate things. Do not advise me on this, tafadhali. And this is not even trying to be rude. I'm just stating a fact. So, I started already at a disadvantage and I didn't even know that. But I was like, yo, okay, I have a mom now. And then I was introduced to a man and I was told, this is your dad. And I was like, oh, I have a mom and a dad. So, okay, I'm like every other child. I was happy about this until, as I said, this man beat me and my sister up one time, yo. I still have a mark on my leg. Hey, where? Tulitandikwa. And that is the first time I questioned if he was really my dad. But I was a kid. And so I just let it go. It happens. And I told my grandmother told him to never do that again. I didn't understand that that was also another thing that was supposed to tell me, yeah, he's not your dad, because I was your grandmother telling your dad to never to beat you again, and he's respecting that. I mean, but at the time I didn't know. As I said, I was just happy being a child and having a mom and a dad, like every other kid I knew. So I grew up, and as I grew up, a lot of things were happening to me. But I could never go and tell her because she was never around. I was my grandmother's kid first, and then I was her child. As I said, we were just never close. We didn't have that relationship yet. So, and then we didn't also spend enough time together to cultivate the mother and daughter bond. So she had that with my sister, but she and I never had that. I had that with my grandma because she was there for me all the time. But as a kid, I just didn't ever think about it. I never did. I was just happy living. I had my friends, I had school. That's all I had to think about. Until some time when I was finishing class 8, and I had my grandmother wondering if she's going to be able to afford to take me to high school. Because at this time, my aunt and my uncle had finished Form 4 a while back, and they wanted to go to college. Their older brother was also, like, I think by that time he had just finished college himself, and he was starting work, I think. And so all of them were living with my grandma, with us, and my grandmother's salary just couldn't like take care of everything. But thank God for SACCOs, thank God for chamas and everything, because she was able to pay my school fees. I usually complain, and I had this conversation with her the other day, just a month ago, like I understand the fact that she took care of fees and everything, and because she did that, she couldn't come for visiting day, or she couldn't like do shopping for me like other kids used to have shoppings due at 2K, 3K, and she couldn't give me like pocket monies, and yanaonanga watu wakipewa like 2,000 and something. My shopping used to cost me 1,000 bob, and pocket money used to be 500 for 3 months. Because hakuna visitation, na kama juu hakuna visitation, hakuna ati pesa ingine nakuja in the middle of the term. That used to be it. But then I would have to ask, I don't know what to call her. I usually use her name. Calling her mom just feels wrong because she's not that to me. But I would ask her sometimes to like chip in like 50 bob, and she would send like 50 bob or 100 or 200 sometimes. The most I think she ever did was that. And it used to be because kuna kitu tunafaa kulipia shule, ama I'm going for music festival, I need some money and stuff like that. But it always came na kelele mingi. So I never understood if it was from her or if it was from the person that was bringing the money. Either way, there was some noise during that time. I had my grandmother talking to her cousin about the money issue. And I was like, in my mind, I was a kid. I was 13 by this time. I was like, where are my parents? All my other friends, the people who are taking them to high school, are their parents. My parents aren't taking me to high school. My parents are not even in this discussion. They're not saying anything about it. They're not saying whether I should go to high school or not. They're not chipping in. My grandmother's educated me during primary school because I used to go to school at a time where we used to pay school fees until when I was in class, I think 6 or 7, actually. Class 7, that's when Mwai Kibaki introduced the free primary education. But before that, we used to pay. So my grandmother had taken care of that. So I started questioning a lot of things. And then I had things that were being said oh, children are not supposed to go to school, wanafaa wasome polepole, wakifika class 8 wakuwa wameshafikisha 17 18 years, wende watafute ID, waende tertiary school, na kama ni wakuolewa aolewe, kama ni wakuoa aowe, and you move on, unaanza kibarua hii maisha. I had all these things as a 13-year-old. And I was like, where's my mother? Why isn't she saying anything about this? Like, why? But again, I was a kid, so I let it go. I did my class 8. I finished. I went to Form 1. And I was taken to a high school in Vihiga County. An amazing school, yes. But the school is beautiful. Mimi tundo, I wasn't concentrating and stuff. But the school is an amazing school. I went to high school. And I was taken to that school. My grandmother took me to that school so that, one, because she couldn't be able to travel from Nairobi to Vihiga County every time there was a visiting day or parents' day or something like that, I could be closer to her so that she could be coming to visit me. But then that didn't work the way my grandmother had hoped. At first it did. Because I remember when we went to school, my grandmother gave me my 500 and her daughter was like, that is a lot of money to give to a child. Wacha nichukue hii kidogo nitakuletea visiting day. Visiting day was like that Saturday that was coming. So I don't know if she gave me during that visiting day or the next one. But that's what happened. So akachukua, I think, 200 or 300. Akenda now, then she brought it to me later. That was one thing. But visitation, she used to come. I'll give her that. At first, Form 1, Form 2, she used to come for my visitations. So that was good. Money-wise, she wasn't working, which is something that I have a problem with. Because in my mind, I go like, if you have a child that you know someone else is helping take care of, you're supposed to do whatever you can to be able to like take care of financial matters when it comes to that child. Hata kama ni kibarua utafanya hapa ya kufua, ya kufanya nini, especially when you know mtu anakuchungia mtoto, pesa konazo zinasaidia kufanya like a lot of other things in that child's life. Like saidia tu kidogo. But she never bothered that much when it came to me until I had something that she had told my grandmother one time. She said that ile pesa ungetumia kunisomesha mimi na kunifanyia hizi vitu zote, vitabu, nini, nilikuachia mtoto ndio umfanyie hivyo. She said this a couple of times, not just once, until eventually my grandmother was like, don't ever tell me something like that. I didn't tell you not to finish school. I didn't tell you not to do 1, 2, 3. So do not tell me that this money was supposed to be spent on you and I should spend it on her. Don't do it. And then she stopped. But I had her say it several times. I had my grandmother ranting about this to her cousin because she didn't like the fact that her daughter had told her this. And as a child, I didn't understand that as a form of abandonment, as a form of neglect, a form of rejection. I didn't understand it as that at the time. But I had it and I kept it. Like there was just this place in my head where these things were going to rest and rest and rest. And they were piling up and they were piling up. So everything she would say, everything I used to experience from her siblings, because her siblings were like, akimaliza Form 4, pia enda kakae na mamake kama sisi vile tulimaliza Form 4, tukaenda kukaa na mama yetu. Now, mama naenda kukaa na yeye, I wasn't sort of allowed to go and live with her where she lives. Because this man that she introduced to me as my dad is not really my dad. He's a stepdad. In my tribe, I think I'm supposed to, if like he would have adopted me, that would have been a different story. But then he didn't adopt me. I'm not his child. His home is not my home. So I cannot finish school and go and live with her at her home. Because that's not her home. It's her home, yes, but it's also her husband's. And this husband is not my father. And I'm the first child. But to that man, my sister is his first child. And everybody in that area where they used to live, they knew this. My sister is the firstborn. And I remember during those high school days, I went to her place one time because we were on a break from school and I wanted a few things to go back to school with, like a little shopping before my grandmother sends shopping from Nairobi. And while I was there, we went to the market center or shopping center or whatever you want to call it, your village. And I remember we met a couple of people. As I said before, I look like her. And people will be like, "Oh, who is this? She looks so much like you. You look alike. Like, is she your sister?" And she'll be like, "Yes." She introduced me as her sister to everybody who asked her who I was. Never once did she say that I was her daughter. And I had this. And again, it went and piled. I didn't know I was stockpiling all of these things. I didn't know. I would hear them, I would feel some type of way, but then it would just go to that place and it was being locked. They would enter, lock there, enter, lock, enter, lock. And I moved on. In Form 3, I think that's when I wrote the letter that I spoke about previously on my birthday. I wrote the letter that I asked if the man she introduced to me as my father was really my father. And that's when all hell broke loose. I told her about a couple of things that were going on in my life. As I said, her siblings weren't treating me well. And maybe it's because I was the youngest in that house that we were living. Okay, my cousin had already been born, but I was the one who could do things. Like I could cook, I could be sent to the duka, I could nini vitu kama hizo. Because my cousin was still like, at that time she was like 2 or something. So mimi ndo nilikuwa mtoto wenye anaweza tumwa and kufanyishwa kazi zingine za wazimu. I said before, I hate doing laundry. It gives me trauma. It's because of that time. A lot of things were happening. So I hate washing clothes. Paka zangu tu peke yangu. I hate doing laundry. And it stems from that time. So a lot of things were happening. This letter, I did not only ask about that man. I also told her that her siblings were mistreating me sometimes. And it was so bad that sometimes I wish I were dead. To a millennial mom or to a Gen Z or to, woke parents or somebody from the Western world, if your child told you that, you'll panic and you'll be like, hey, should we look for a therapist? Okay, what's happening? And you'll go and face these people and tell them, hey, my child is very upset with you because she's saying that she wishes she were dead because of the things that you're doing. What are you doing to my child? She's saying that you did this. Can you stop doing that to her? That is what a normal mom will do. Go and talk to the siblings and tell them, stop it. I'ma just try and ask like what is happening, or even talk to me and try to find out what is happening from me. Ask me like, so when you say this, what is really happening? What are they doing? Ndio imekufanya ukafika hapa, like you wish that you were dead. But that's not what she did. My uncle, her brother, who is late, my uncle Humphrey, he's passed. He was visiting her that time when the letter got to her. She read the letter. I had complained about my uncle and their siblings. And she took this letter and gave it to the brother to read. Like, ona kila mtu anaandika. Ananikosea heshima, nakosea kila mtu kwa familia heshima. And he reads it, comes back to Nairobi, tells the brother and the sister that nimewatukana hao wote. Na huku ndo nikifunga shule nafaa nikuje. Mali tayari nasema nateswa. That's where I was supposed to come back to. And that's where the sister now has given them more ammunition. Now, during that time, we were supposed to be going for music festival. As I said, pesa nilikuwa napewa kidogo pocket money. 500 nikifika shule, first week, to 100, one club, 100, another club, nibaki na 300 for 3 months, which is just illogical. So I needed money for music festival, but then watu walikuwa nafukuzwa fee. My grandmother always used to make sure that she has paid the entire fee. But this time, she forgot and paid less with 1,000. I had never been on that list ya kufukuzwa kwenda kuchukua fee. But this time when the names were being mentioned, I had my name. I was happy. Which is something stupid that kids do when they're in school. Like, unajua ukienda home, hiyo ni fare unatafuta, uende nayo nyumbani, ufike nyumbani, mzazi tena kupatie pesa ingine urudi nayo. But akili yako inakwambia, if I go home, they'll give me more pocket money, they'll do shopping for me, they'll do what. And umefukuzwa juu ya fee. So, like, I don't know, it was just stupid. So, in my stupid mind, how old was I back then? 15, 16. I already turned 16. In that stupid mind of a 16-year-old, I told myself, wacha niende home, niende Nairobi. I go and talk to my grandmother's sister because that's where I used to go to stay. Instead of my grandmother's daughter's home, I used to go and stay at my grandmother's sister's place. So I was like, I'll go to her place. I'll tell her to give me the fare. Mark you your time. Fare kutoka Ushago paka Nairobi ni 800. Kutoka Vihiga paka Nairobi, it's 800. So, anipay your fare, niende Nairobi. Alafu nikirudi, Shosho will have to give me money to come back to school. Si count pay your fare kurudi nini kutoka Nairobi paka village, another 800. Alafu nipatie pocket money. So that way, I'll have money during this music festival thing. So tukienda zonals, districts, provisionals, zote nitakuwa na pesa. I didn't think about that. Me, I was just happy, like, yo, I'm going home finally. Nimefukuzwa fee. So I go to the bazaar and I'm like, hey, I want my liver sheet. And he's like, no, you're not going anywhere. Your grandmother always pays the school fees. This is just because your name was amongst zile ijakuwa cleared, but you're not going anywhere. We're not going to chase you because of 1,000 bob, while your grandmother never fails to pay you the school fees. So go back to class. And I'm like, please, 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 I really want to go home. I just want to go. I'll just go for the weekend, then I'll be back by Monday. And he gives in eventually because I begged him. I really did. He agrees and he gives me the leave out sheet. I'm happy. I go in my head. I'm like, Nenda Nairobi. Like, it was so stupid. But then I go to my grandmother's sister's place and she's there and she's asking what's happening. I'm like, I've been chased away because of school fees. How much? And I tell her, it's just 1,000 bob, but I have to go to Nairobi. So I was wondering if you could give me the fare. I go because says in mapema, I grabbed that bus niende before kuchelewe sana. And she's like, you're not going to Nairobi. So I think phones were there at the time, but zile za kitambo, what happened, I don't know, because she spoke to my grandma. I think simu zilikuwa zishaanza kuingia. My grandmother had a Siemens, ama ilikuwa Sony Ericsson. Like, she had that type of phone during those days. Anywho, she calls my grandmother. My grandmother says she's not coming to Nairobi. Do not come to Nairobi. Okay? And so she calls my grandmother's daughter. And she comes because she was like, oh, niende na shule. I explained, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, I'll just go back to school because nikifika niambie bazaar sijakuja na fee atafanya. Nothing. I wasn't even meant to go home in the first place. So I don't know what happened, who I went back to school with them. I went back by myself. I don't really remember everything that happened after this incident, other than the music festival. I don't really remember everything else, like if I was taken back to school by somebody, if I went by myself, did somebody come to school to explain? I don't know, because this incident was just well, so I'm sat at my grandma's sister's place and kidogo I see my grandmother's daughter coming. And so she enters and she's like, really upset and angry and she's puffing and everything. And I'm like, Connie, what's up? Because that letter, she didn't reply a letter to explain anything. The person I used to send the thing, like letters to her through, he had come and said some very not so lovely things to me. As I said, in the kitchen, the school kitchen, in front of the other cooks and the cateress who hated me because of all of these things this man used to tell me at school, in front of these people. As I said, if I wasn't a prefect, ningepitia sana hiyo shule, by the way. Being a prefect saved me because somewhat made them afraid that I could report them. But this man used to say things to me. Your mother has said, your mother is doing, your mother, you keep upsetting your mother. This man doesn't know my past with this lady. He doesn't know that she has never done anything for me. But he has the nerve to tell me that I'm upsetting her, I'm demanding way too much, I'm a bratty kid, and all of these things that he used to say in front of the staff members. And so they will take me as that. Like mimi ni mtoto mbaya, mtoto mtukutu, mtoto nini. So he had come that time and called me, and I went to him. Actually, when I was having dinner, he had said, utakuja leo, so baadaye. And so I went to him and he was like, unasoma mako sana. Hiyo ni nini ulipatia nikampelekea? Hiyo barua blah blah blah. And he spoke about it, meaning this lady discussed the letter with this man as well. So it wasn't just my uncle, it was that man as well. A man who basically is a stranger. He might be a cook at my school. He might be my messenger to her, but he's still a stranger. So this day she comes and she sits down. Where I was sat, she was like sat to my right side, mbele kiasi. There were other sofa sets on that side. Like I was sat on one wall, she was sat on the other wall. So on my right side, that side. And behind her, there was a window where her cousin was coming to listen in. Because she saw how she came. She knew she was upset. She starts talking about the letter. And I keep quiet. As a millennial, we were taught fear. When your parents are talking, you keep quiet and you listen. If they ask you, unasikia, you say, mm-hmm. If you keep quiet, unaambiwa, so unajifanya hutaki kuniongelesha. If you say more than ndio nasikia, it becomes, so unajibishana na mimi. So I just kept quiet because she looked upset. And so I just wanted to listen. In my mind, when she talked about the letter, I was like, maybe she's going to explain why this man has never taken care of me, why this man said I shouldn't go to high school, why this man never pays for anything when it comes to me, why this man let me be raised by my grandmother while both of them are alive. So I was hoping that she will explain that. But she never brought up any of the things I had asked her in a way that I thought she would. So she tells me, this man that you're speaking about like this, najaribu kumbembeleza ndo akusomeshe college, ndo akulipie college ama university, na unaongea vibaya kumhusu. Akisikia unadhania atachukulia aje. And I'm like, that doesn't answer my question, but I laugh in my head because I'm like, alisema sifa atakwenda high school, how is it going to work at atanilipia college ama uni? So I laugh in my head, but facial expression, nothing. I have a beach resting face, so that's what is happening on my face. Like no facial expression. I'm just looking at her. And she says other things about that situation. And in the way that she's talking about him, I realize, oh, he's not my dad. So that starts explaining everything. I'm an overthinker, so my mind goes to every memory. Remember when I said he beat me up akaniacha alama kwa mguu? That was the first time. Okay, not the first time, but the first time when I questioned also if he was my dad, and also actually if this lady was my mom. Because of something I had seen between the two of them, I knew he had a little bit of rage in him. And so the mistake we had done for us to be beaten like Mburukenges that day it was very minimal. But she threatened my sister and I to tell him. And when he came, she reported to him. She knew this man has rage, and she still reported us to him. As her children, she reported us to a man she knows has rage. And she sat there while we were being beaten, hadi tukachwa alama. So all of these things started coming back to my mind, but she's still talking. She goes ahead and tells me, hauna adabu, unatukana watu wazima kukuliko. Now these are her siblings. I had told her that they were mistreating me. Sometimes it's so bad I wish I was dead. Mother dearest tells me ati unatamani kukufa kwa sababu hutaki kusikia ukiambiwa kitu umekuwa kichwa ngumu sana bla 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 bla. And I'm like, umejua aje mimi ni kichwa ngumu? Umeniona wapi nikiwa kichwa ngumu? Like, you haven't raised me. You don't know me. All of these things you're saying about me are just hearsay. And you believe them because they're your siblings, because they're older than me. How would you know? This is in my head. And she goes, tunatamani kukufa. Ni sawa tu. Wewe kufa. Kama unataka kufa kufa. Hiyo si shida. Mimi sitasikia uchungu. Ile matiti ulinyonya ukiwa mdogo ndio itasikia uchungu. I later come to learn that in my tribe, that in itself is a curse, especially to your firstborn. Whew. I really didn't want to cry about this. I thought I was past this actually, but apparently not. So she says that to me. At the time, I didn't think it sank as it should have. Because she said that, but my mind was still reeling from the fact that this man is not my dad. And I was remembering all these scenarios, why they haven't been in my life, blah, 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 blah. And remembering some things, traditional things that used to happen and I would be left behind while everybody was going to their home. I was thinking about all of these things. So as she said that, I heard it, yes. It registered, yes. But the weight of what she had said didn't sink in. So I listened as she continued talking. And she tells me, umenichokesha, and a lot of other things. And then she wrings her hands and she said, nimosha mkono kwako. Again in my mind I go like, umosha mkono kwangu umenifanyia nini? All I've ever known is my grandma. She has taken care of me. She was there when I was sick. She has always been my constant. So, unosha mkono kwangu umenifanyia nini? Again, as a millennial, you don't voice such things, so I kept quiet. And I just listened to her continue venting. She spoke a lot of things, but those are the things that stuck. Again, they went into that vault and it was locked. But they affected me a lot. I went back to school. As I said, I don't remember how. I don't remember if I went back that same day. I don't remember if I went the next or after a couple of, I don't know. But I also remember her cousin, my aunt, coming to the window, listening and laughing about yani napashwa. And then she will go away. This aunt later mistreated me so badly. Like, I don't even think she remembers these things. And family, again, you're not supposed to talk about these things. Nata ivosta yongela, because she doesn't matter. It's okay. It was their home. It's fine. But back to the lady who gave birth to me. So she says these things, and then I go back to school. And that was the last time I saw her. So the other visiting days that came, she just never came to see me. And at first, the first visiting day she didn't come, I was like, okay, so nobody's coming for me. I was like, okay, because it's that one unakaa kwa class unangojea uitwe, because you used to be in class unasikia flani mzazi wako amekam, you leave. Flani, you could only go out if your parent was there. It was break time ama lunch time. But field ilikuwa ni watoto na wazazi wao. My class in form 3, windows zetu zilikuwa zina face the field. And that's where children were meeting with their parents. So I was seeing other kids with their parents, but me, I stayed in class until Juni Kafika. I went to the dorm. The next visitation, again, nothing. So third term came. The first visiting, I offered to be one of the prefects, because prefects are the ones used to welcome the parents. So I offered to do that. And I remember doing that until I finished form 4. Because I knew nobody's coming to see me. So mbona nikae tu class, badala kukaa class nikakae nikiinvite wazazi wengine. And so I will do that. Every time there was visiting day, I was the one who was inviting other people's parents. I remember one time it was evening, tushamaliza, I've gone to the dome, and then somebody comes and tells me your grandmother is here. I was like, no, lies. I was like, is it my grandmother's sister who's finally remembered that I have visiting day money didn't happen because nobody visits me? But then I was told, no, it's your grandma. Hey, I ran. I went to the field and I saw her. Sijaifurahi hiyo siku. And then another time, I think my uncle also came from Nairobi as well. But those are the two times, tangu hiyo story yote ya the letter, that I saw somebody. So, yeah. But anyway, that was the norm for me now. Nobody coming to see me. But whenever we'll close schools, na tumefunga for a short time, then we go back for tuition, I would have to go and see her, ndo anisaidie kubai 1, 2, 3 za kurudi nazo shule, which was always a hassle. She will say she never had money, but she did her best. As I said, I have a problem in that situation in itself. But ni sawa. It happened, ni kitambo, it's fine. So, my prayer day, Form 4 prayer day, that is the next time I saw her at my school. She carried a grudge for all that time. So whenever we'll go and see her at her place, she will do whatever she needed to do. If I send that guy to go and ask her for anything, she will give. I will not talk about what conditions they were in, but she used to. And so, me, I will still go and ask her, nahitaji kitu fulani, tishu imeisha, pads sina, na nafaa kurudi shule tuition, so I need these things. And she will deliver. Again, condition, I'm not going to talk about that. But the next time I saw her in the capacity of a parent in my school again was during my prayer day in Form 4. And she had my little sister with her, like our last one now. As I said, the birthday one, I didn't know she was expected. So, because I hadn't seen her for over a year by this time. So, I didn't know that she was expecting my sister. So, I see her with a little baby. And I know the only reason she came is because my aunt, now their last one, had come with my cousin for my prayer day. And I know for a fact that if my aunt had not come with my cousin, nobody would have shown up for me during my prayer day. I wasn't even expecting anybody to come. I wasn't expecting anybody to come. Nobody had come to visit me for a long time. And so, yeah. And it was so known in my school that paka kuna siku, I had finished welcoming the parents for imefika, and I went to the dome, and I found my dorm mates had visited me, and I'm putting that in quotes. Like my dorm mates walikuja wamekwa loka yangu, wameniekea, mtu ameniekea sabuni, mtu ameniekea pads, mtu ameniekea whatever it is, like a piece of whatever they had been brought for. Like it was on the top of my locker. And kuna tuchakula hapo, mtu ameniekea kakuku, mtu ameniekea chapo, mtu ameniekea nini. This is something my dorm mates did for me. And I remember entering, naangalia watu tu, like talking to people, going to my space. And there's this lady who follows me, and she tells me, Madhe, because I was a dorm prefect, so mother dorm, Madhe, leo sisi ndo tumeamua kukuvisit. I didn't cry in front of them because Saturdays zilikuwanga pia siku entertainment. I felt emotional, I know, I remember that. But I think I cried later when I came back from entertainment and I was going to sleep. Because kuna then nilikuwa nafunika bed yangu, so hakuna mtu angeniona nikiwa ndani. I think I cried then hapo. Because that was such a good gesture from them. And I didn't expect, like me, a lot of things sometimes happen to me and I don't expect them to happen. But they did that. And these were young girls, my age mate, 16, 17, 13, some of them from ones from 14. And they did this for me. And so seeing her during prayer day, I was shocked, but I was like, okay, sawa. I remember that is the first time I hugged her in my life. First and only time I've ever hugged her. And I remember I even voiced it and I said, wacha leo hug mama yangu. What kid says that? But I did. I voiced it because I had hugged my aunt and I had hugged my cousin. But then she was there. I couldn't not hug her. So I gave her a hug and I was like, oh, wacha leo hug mama yangu. And so that happened. Anyway, I finished Form 4. Well, coming to Nairobi, I think we came with her after Form 4. And I stayed with her for a while. Then we went to my grandma's. I remained at my grandmother's. Kumbuka, while I was doing this, even while I was staying with her in Nairobi, at the back of my mind, I was remembering things that were being said while I was in high school, blah, blah, when I was joining high school, like akimaliza kakae na mamake. And I didn't want that. I didn't want to leave my grandmother behind. I did not want to not be with my grandma. So I was worried that this was going to be true. She stays in the village. Not that it's a problem. My siblings grew up there. But I was afraid that they would force me to go and live in the village with her. But lucky for me, I'm not allowed to live in that home of hers, according to my culture or whatever. But anyway, I go back to my grandmother's and time for college comes. Again, the same madness. Pesa, inawestiwa, mbona, nani, and all of these things that were being said. Again, mother dearest, what say you? Nothing. I remember my grandmother asking me, because I needed money for, I don't know if it was a uniform for Utali or something. It cost 2,000. And that one, they told me to call dad and ask him about it. And he agreed. First time he ever spent money on me. Aliniletea 2K. I was grateful and I'm still by the way, thank you. Because he didn't have to, but he did. And then after that, I finished college and all of this time passes. All this time kuna vitu zimesemwa, kuna vitu zinaongelewa, kuna vitu naona. Again, going kwa ile lock zinafungwa, going there inafungwa. Until I start living by myself in 2013. I don't remember where exactly it was, which year it was, but I have photos during that time, so I'm sure if I went to check, I would know. But anyway, it was after 2013, either 2014 or later 2013. My uncle had moved out of home and he wasn't feeling so well. He was living in Ruiru at the time, and these sisters agreed to go and visit him. I was living in Githurai. So I don't know why, but I felt so excited. Like my mother is in Nairobi, she's going to visit my uncle who's in Ruiru, mi niko hapa Githurai. So maybe on their way back, she might suggest to the sister and to the sister-in-law, situpitie mile tuone pia mahali anakaa. I cleaned my house, I made some food. I was ready to receive these people. Hawakuwa wameniambia wanakuja. So it was me just overthinking and me expecting something that, I shouldn't have been. But anyway, they didn't. And they didn't even call me kusema hata tumepita hapa kwenyu, nothing. Walienda straight to Ruiru and went straight back to Nairobi. And that was it. Nilibaki Githurai yangu by myself. That is when things started going wrong for me. The overthinking went overboard. I started working and I remember there's a time she would come to visit. My grandmother was in the hospital. She had undergone some surgery and then she was out. Or whenever she would visit and I was with my grandmother would call me to the side and be like, your mother is leaving. Uko na ka pesa kidogo mpatie fare. And I remember I once gave her like 200. Another time I gave her 500. And it never sat well with me. I didn't like the fact that I was giving her money. Not because I don't like giving, but anybody who knows me, they know I give when I have. But this one felt off. I didn't like it. Because I already had doubt. It was during this time that I was overthinking. I was hating myself. I was just in such a weird headspace that I can't really describe, but it was during that time. And so I didn't want to, but I did because my grandmother had asked me to. And I went back to my place, overthought the whole thing, but I was quiet, I was okay, I was moving on, pushing on. I had been taught to forgive and move on, forgive and move on. I was trying with her. But for some reason, it just wasn't landing. I hated her at that time. And I hated myself for hating her, because I don't like hating people. I don't like hate. So I hated her and I hated myself and I hated myself for hating her. And I didn't want this entire thing. I wanted to just scream to the world like I'm in pain. I'm in trouble. I don't know who to put this pain on. I just don't know. I ended up doing something very reckless that time. But then, yeah, it's life. So eventually I settled down with myself and I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to hate myself because I only have me. If there's anything I've learned about my family is that I only have myself. Yes, there are people, but all these people have their families now and they concentrate on them. I am by myself, literally. And should something happen to my grandmother, God forbid, then I'll be left totally alone. Nobody will stand by my side. So I can't hate myself. And on hating, I was like, yeah, I'm done with that as well. Because there's no use of hating somebody who doesn't think that they did something wrong. I'm the one who's carrying the hate. I'm the one who's carrying the burden. And in doing so, I'm only hurting myself. So why continue doing it? I reasoned it out. I have self-therapized myself in so many different occasions. So I do that and I'm like, okay, sawa sawa. Let me let it go. And I do. Then I don't know what year it was. I think I was still in Githurai. I had just moved here. I don't remember, but it was after grandma's surgery. My sister called me one time and she's like, hey, so mom had an accident and she broke her leg. So call her and tell her anything. Mjule tu hali. Mpigie tu mjule hali because anashanga like ameumia and you can't even call, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay. I still had her number on my phone. So after I talk to my sister, I take my phone, I scroll down and go to mom and I go to call her. I thought I was past the hate. I thought I was past the anger, the betrayal and everything. But looking at her number during that day, thinking to myself that I'm supposed to call her and I'll tell her, sorry, you got hurt. Nampigia kumjulia hali because ameumia mguu. How many times did she call me or call my grandmother to ask how I was doing? How many times did she call and ask to talk to me? I have my phone now. I've had my phone for a couple of years now. She has my number. How many times has she called me to just wish me a happy birthday? The answer is once. My entire life, once she's called me to tell me a happy birthday. When I was a kid, yeah, maybe once, twice. But as an adult, once. Once she called me. How many times did she do this? How many times did she wonder if I'm sick or not and actually voice it? Because mothers who gave birth to millennials, you have to understand something. It's not just enough to give birth to children. You have to actually make them know that you care for them. Tell them you love them. Tell them you care for them. Show them you care for them. Mine had never said that she loves me. She had never held me when I was angry or sad or sick. Never. So why was I calling her to know how she was doing? When was the last time she ever just called to ask how I was? I felt so betrayed. I felt so bad. I cried so much that day. And I deleted her number from my phone. And I've never had it ever again. I deleted, instead of calling her, I ended up deleting her number. Because I was like, why should I be expected to always be the one to reach out, to forgive, to forget? But none of these people are expected to show me love, to show me kindness, to say thank you, to be there for me. Why was I the one chosen to be the punching bag for everybody? Why was I the one who was expected to step up? Why was I the one who was expected to always put herself down and put other people up? Why was I supposed to call her and ask how she was doing while she had never called me to ask me how I was doing? So I deleted her number and I've never had it ever again. And from that moment, I decided I will never show her disrespect, and I've never have, but I will never talk to her. Because she wasn't doing it for my soul. She wasn't helping me out. She wasn't, and I don't want to go to that dark place ever again. So I decided, even if we share the same room, the same space, I'll be cordial. If she talks to me, I'll talk back to her, but I will never start a conversation with her, not even to say hi. Because mbona nikuulize sasa unaendeleaje kama sitaki kujua unaendeleaje? And so that is the woman who gave birth to me. And that's the story between her and me. If you want to tell me forgive her, I'll do that if she asks for forgiveness. But I don't think she ever will. And even if I do, we can never be mother and daughter. In name, yeah, sure. But having her in my life is like having an aunt who your grandma or parents talk to you about and be like, I have this cousin or I have this aunt of yours who blah, 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 but you've never met them. Ama you've met them, but you saw them kitambo. That is how she is to me. Like, I don't know her and she doesn't know me. And it has taken me a while, but I think I'm finally okay with that fact that she doesn't know me and I don't know her, and it's okay. In 2022, we were in a family function that the people who were sat there were family members. We were at my grandmother's sister's place, that place I used to go to while I was in school. And there was a function for cousins, like me and my cousins. I don't know why she came. I think my grandmother asked her to come to represent the family, forgetting that I'm the firstborn, the first granddaughter. I could have represented the family just fine. But she came, I think maybe because they're in the same village or something. And while she was introducing herself, she had my sister's kids and my brother's kid. She introduced my sister's kids as her firstborn's children. And then she went like, oh, sorry, my secondborn's children. I was standing, like 2 people are between her and me. I was standing right there beside her as she introduced her grandkids as her firstborn's children, because that's how she used to doing it. So I felt pain again. I didn't cry about it this time, but the feelings were there. But the thing is, as an African child, you're expected to brush that under the rug and move on like nothing happened. I remember telling my sister one time what she had told me while I was in Form 3. And my sister told me, kwa nini? Hata mimi ameniambia hivyo mara mingi. Yeah, sure. Difference is, she raised you, she didn't raise me. If my grandmother told me that, I'll be like, okay, I'll be upset. But at the end of the day, after everything she has done for me, I'll be like, okay, sour, but what can I do to make things better? But this person had never done anything for me. So her telling me that was like, yo, what do you mean? But anyway, that is the story of me and the woman who gave birth to me. Forgiveness is never something that is so far from my mouth or from my mind or from my heart. I forgive very easily. But for this, I need her to say I'm sorry. And I need her to say I'm sorry for this and for this and for this. And if she never does, that's okay. But if you're thinking just forgive her and move on, I'm moving on. It's the forgiving that it's a little bit tricky. And I've said this to God a couple of times. If you're not blessing me, God, because I cannot forgive her, then it's okay. Because everything I've been through, I just need one of these people to say, I am sorry for saying this, for doing this, for treating you like this. But if that never comes, then it's okay. I will move on. I remember when I had therapy, my therapist told me that we should see parents as human beings as well, not just parents. We should also see them as human beings, understand they were also going through things. And if you're a firstborn, you should understand that to your parent, you You didn't come with a manual. And so they were learning to be your mom at the same time that you are learning to be their daughter. I get it. I get it. But thing is, she has never learned how to be my mom. She's never had to. She just expects me to be a certain way because she gave birth to me. She expects respect, and I give her respect. It's okay. She birthed me. I can never take that back. She did. So because of that, she has my respect. But love and all these other things that children feel for their parents, I do not have that for her because I don't know her. Honestly, honest to God, I do not know her. My sister does. And it's right that she calls her firstborn because that is her chosen firstborn. Her father stayed. So there's that. But yeah, happy Mother's Day. Wish your mothers a happy Mother's Day if they took good care of you. Even if they didn't, but they were there, they did the best they could. Wish them happy Mother's Day. And yeah, I don't know if I'll ever be a mom, but if I ever am, I hope to God that I'll be the best mother for my kid. I'll be the kind of mother that I wish I had. But yeah, we're leaving it up unto God. We shall see. But if I never am, then that's okay as well. Maybe God will have made it so that I never am. So for a purpose, I don't know. So it's okay. Either way, it's fine. But yeah, I'll leave it at that. So yeah. So happy Mother's Day. If you're a mom, hope you enjoy your day. I hope if you have little children that they wake up and doodle something and give it to you like love you mommy, blah blah blah, stick it on the fridge and stuff like that, whatever. May you have a really beautiful day, and I hope you really enjoy it honestly with your family. Appreciate being a mom because it's not easy. Yo, nimeona watoto wengine, these children who cause tantrums in supermarkets and stuff. Kai, unaangalia na mama ako hapo anasema, Junior simama, Junior stand up, Junior. Until they themselves start crying. Yo, being a mom is not easy, but it's a blessing from God. So when God gives you that blessing, take it with both hands and do the best you can. I understand. I see you as a human being, but also just make sure that you're doing the best that you can for this little human being that God has bestowed upon your hands. So don't let them go. Don't let them fall off the map. Don't let them not talk to you for years and years. And by they complain about it while they're not talking to you. Mtoto, hata nani akisikia. Yo, I've had everything, but don't allow that. As I said at the beginning, do not call me. Do not text me. Do not dare asijui kuambia kina nani. And if you tell them not to call me and tell me anything about this. Hakuna familia nimeaibisha. This is my story. Na kama mnaona ni aibu, jiulizeni kwa nini ni aibu. Juu aibu haiko in the part that I'm telling the story. Aibu iko kwa kitendo chenyewe. So, jiulize maswali before you try and call me or call whoever you will want to call so that they can talk to me. I don't want to discuss this. It's my story. I've said before I'll be writing a book. And when it comes out, hiyo sana itakuwa na aibu zaidi. So, don't do it. Okay? Yeah, I'll leave it at that. Have a happy Mother's Day. Celebrate being a mother. Celebrate your children, especially the one who made you first to be called a mom. So, celebrate them and celebrate your life. And yeah, see you next month for Father's Day because I have stories to tell there as well. Okay, so remember to please like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications so that you can come back whenever I upload something new. We are still stuck at 26. Tunapanda lakini pole pole. We're still at 26. Please, if you listen to this up to this moment, remember to please subscribe and tell your friends, tell your spouses, tell your children, tell whoever will listen to please subscribe to my channel, and I'll be very, very happy. Okay? Bye-bye now.